Scarlatti was a composer that I have been fascinated with since a young age, and I somehow shied away from his compositions. I always played in my programs Bach. At the same time, in the back of my mind, there was always this desire or a kind of ambition to program some Scarlatti, but I knew that they were very delicate and difficult to find the right feel of. I wanted to find a way to categorize or group them so that people could listen to them in a more continuous way. Instead of listening to each sonata as a single piece, they could have a longer line, a longer picture, and follow through with the whole set of works. So I decided to create little mini suites and little mini sonatas, also as a bridge to show how Scarlatti was Baroquean, but at the same time really moving towards a modern direction. After I decided to have 2 CDs, it became mainly an idea of how to group them. Rather than choosing specific sonatas, which I found particularly interesting, it was a question of how they would connect with each other. So I got all 11 volumes of the Scarlatti scores, and it took me about a month to compile these because I would go through all of them. I have read through all 555 of the sonatas. I categorized them in terms of key, I categorized them in terms of mood and style, and I cross-referenced them later. And during this time, I kept on having to do it with fresh eyes. So after 2 days or so, I would go back to my choices and reassess them to see how it sounds on any given day. Scarlatti is one of those composers where when you're listening to a long playlist of sonatas, which I was doing while I was selecting my pieces, there were moments where I would suddenly look up from doing whatever I was doing and think, is that really Scarlatti? Am I clicking the right track? And these are really special moments, and they come quite a few times throughout my disc. There are several sonatas where the harmonies are so out there, and you can't imagine how it's possible that he would have been able to compose such things for harpsichord even. It's always the question of how composers heard their own music, how they wanted their own music to be played from their time. And while having listened to a number of versions of the Scarlatti sonatas for harpsichord and even transcriptions for guitar, since he was strongly influenced by that, I find that on the modern piano, you really shouldn't be afraid to give all the opportunities or possibilities that the modern piano could offer. I wasn't afraid of taking any risks, and when I played his music, while of course trying to keep in mind that this was in fact a Baroque composer, I did also try to express music in new and more crossing the boundary ways.